And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of GenerationShock. That's right, we're back and we're better than ever. And unfortunately, this week you just have to look at the two of us ugly mugs as we go through. Unfortunately, our boy Phoenix Born is, working a little late, and our girl Tosh had some other things that she had to get into as well. So, without further ado, let's kick it into that intro. All right. So, yeah. We're ready. We got a good show in store for you folks today. A lot of topics that, of course, are probably going to be sports related, being that there's a lot going on in the sports world this week. And also, there's nobody here to complain about it, aka Phoenix Born. So we love you, though. We miss you. Hope you come back soon. But until then, we got some good stuff. But before we get into that, anything going on in your life? Anything new, exciting? Any highs of the week?
No, actually, no highs of the week. No.
Okay.
No highs.
Yeah.
Planning to go on a cruise, but that's until it gets actually accepted. Well, not a cruise, a vacation. Until it gets accepted,
Where to?
Huh?
Where to?
Around the Caribbeans.
Yeah, so you're trying to go and catch COVID. Sounds like fun.
How am I gonna catch COVID? I mean, it's gonna be the new norm, bro. We have to learn how to live with it.
I know. It's gonna be like the flu.
I got the shots. Right? I'm fully vaccinated, so
yeah, it's just gonna suck walking around the cruise ship with a mask on the whole time.
Passed out.
Yeah, won't matter, will it? Yeah, dude, I need to go on a vacation. I need to go find something to do.
Let's plan something. Maybe but you bring somebody and be a couples trip.
Okay, yeah, I'll just
a cruise.
I'll see how much.
I gotta talk to the wife.
I'll check and see how much an escort is for a vacation.
I'm pretty sure you can find somebody.
Yeah, we'll see. So not too much going on here. I just, last week I did do the sneaker of the day, and I have February 1st, I decided it's time to get back in it. So I have started to recoup myself back into my old habits. So 2 days straight, yesterday and today, got out and got my run in, but I've been off the last 2 days, so it wasn't hard. So we'll see how it is tomorrow morning when I have to wake my ass up again early in order to go out there and run 3 miles before work. Yeah. But looking forward to it.
They say if you do it what, a week straight?
2 weeks or something like that becomes a habit.
2 weeks?
Yeah. So I've done it before. I just got to get back into it. My legs are a little sore, but I like the way I feel with it, and I'm excited to get back into it and, be ready for that cruise if we go on it, so I can take my shirt off.
Are you running outside or you have a treadmill?
Outside. Yeah, I don't run inside.
Okay.
It's Florida. Yeah. That's the one. I love being in Florida again, being able to just go outside and run. And the shoes.
Any time of the year.
Listen, dude, as I'm running, the shoes are literally telling me things to do. Like, your cadence is 2 steps behind the norm. They're like, pretend there's a string pulling your head back and keeping your arms straight. Move your arms faster to speed up your cadence without changing your pace. Yeah. Dude,
so you got a coach. Your sneakers is your coach.
Yep. The sneakers literally tell me these analytics. They give me all this insight to everything. It's so dope.
Happening at the moment?
Yep, in the moment. Literally, I'm getting
that's pretty badass
pointers in the moment about my running style. And I found out that I'm a flat foot runner, which they say isn't bad for long distance anyway. So it's telling me the angle that my foot normally hits the ground, it breaks shit down. I mean, I'll pull it up on a future show, maybe next week or something. I'll show you all the analytics and everything. It's freaking crazy, bro.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's very.
I would like to see that.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff.
Yeah. So what do we got going on this week?
I think we'll just go ahead and hop into the intro because that's pretty much going to be the entire episode. So let's go. That's right. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and like the program. And we have big announcements as well before we just jump into the sports world. We are in the process of trying out some different hosting sites. So we are going to be converting this over to a podcast as well. So all those folks who don't get a chance to watch us live Wednesdays at 10 p.m. or whenever other night we may come on, you'll have an opportunity to listen to us in your car. And you get to hear these sweet, sweet tones of my voice in your speakers. We will be on.
Let me see if I can do that. Yeah.
We will be
a natural tone.
Podcasts are accepted. So Google, Spotify, Apple will be tracking everywhere. So we're going to try to move into another genre. And I think it'll be better off for me by far because we all know I'm great to listen to, just not so great to look at sometimes. So, with that being said, unfortunately without Nate here, we probably lost our women viewership. Plummeted, unfortunately, but still good times. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about it. Why are you wearing that Patriots gear, bro? What's up with that? What's the deal this week? Why you got all that ugly gear on?
As the news got broken, was out there, even though it started off as a rumor, right? But anything Adam Schefter says, it's not a rumor, bro. It's because he has insight. So as soon as I read that it says Adam Schefter reports Tom Brady is, and I'm like, it's real. No, but he hasn't said it. So,
well, time out, if I may interject for a moment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, that's not completely accurate because remember during draft he made those rumors about Aaron Rodgers going to be traded and all this other bullshit, and he's actually taken a lot of slack for what he did. And if you really paid attention to the post, the reason it was believed wasn't because Adam Schefter reported it. The reason it was believed is because he attached the name Jeff Darlington, and Jeff Darlington is known.
Who?
Jeff
TV?
No, Adam Schefter did. He attached Jeff Darlington's name to his announcement when he tried to break the news because he knew he didn't have the credibility to do it on his own. Jeff Darlington is somebody who is very close to the Tom Brady world and in that circle. Yeah. So once Jeff Darlington's name got attached to it, that's when it was like, okay, this is considered a real thing then possibly. So
yeah. Well, let's say for example, out of 10, he's an 8, bro. An accuracy.
Oh yeah, so, I get it. But no, he's taking a lot of slack because the last things there are people pissed in the Tom Brady camp that why wouldn't you just let him announce it when he was ready? You literally did it. The exact thing he didn't want to have happened, which was it got announced before the championship games. So the topic
it overshadowed it. Yeah.
It wasn't overshadowed, but still the topic Sunday morning had to do with him and not about the games. And that's exactly what he was trying to prevent. And so Schefter just seems like this freaking asshole who's out there only looking out for himself. Oh, I got the story. I'm going to put it out. Has no respect for the person behind the story to say, you know what? Okay, I got it. Let me sit on it till maybe Monday or something. And then I'll release it out of respect for Brady. But he's afraid somebody else is going to scoop him. Oh my God, I got to get the story out first.
Maybe that's the ego of him released it too early. But I believe he has great relationships with a lot of players and a lot of connections.
He does, but from what I'm hearing is that this last
he's getting heat for this.
This last 12 months, he's ruining those relationships by what he's doing.
That's not good.
Because think about it, he tried to trump the draft with the Aaron Rodgers news, right? So he came out and made those announcements about Aaron Rodgers, which took away from everything going on at the draft. Now he comes out before championship weekend with the news about Brady and tries to take the stuff away from people are starting to be like, wait a minute, maybe we won't tell you something. Maybe you won't be the insider that you think you are because we don't like the way that you're breaking the news stuff. Yeah. And it's not remember, Tom Brady has a relationship with ESPN with that whole man in the arena thing. So that could really, you don't want to piss them off. Yeah, you don't want to be pissing them off and doing that shit.
I still haven't watched episode 10 yet.
I haven't watched. I'm a few episodes behind. I think the last ones I watched, I can't remember which one it was, but
I watched 9 yesterday. No, the day he made the announcement.
Yeah, I got it
yesterday. Yeah. But so Tom Brady. ESPN, everybody was shooting out. Tom Brady's retiring. Tom Brady's retiring. Even social media went crazy. But he never made the announcement. My wife was like, he hasn't made the announcement. Why is everybody? I'm like, well, everybody's saying it. So it could be true. He could be retiring.
Well, there was other conjecture too. There was a lot of things he said in press conferences. He has never said before.
On a podcast, right? He said something on the podcast.
Well,
recently.
Even before that, even after the game, he never said like, no, I'll be back next year. He was more like, I got to take it over with my family. They deserve, like to be a part of it. Like the whole conversation was just different. It wasn't the normal Brady, like,
and then that's when the rumors also started. Yeah. So, and then he finally broke it out, and bruh, like, it is crazy. I've actually finally, before actually getting on, my wife goes, have you read the letter that he wrote?
Oh yeah.
I'm like, no, I only heard about it. She goes, have you read it?
You heard there was backlash about that letter too.
Bro, yeah. I'm like, what do you mean? So I started reading it, and she's like, my wife, like, she's like, he's a traitor. She's like, fucking Tom Brady's a traitor. So she respected him, but because he left New England.
Okay, but regardless of that, does she feel that way because of the letter?
No. She felt that way because he left.
Okay.
Now the letter, she's like, well, I wouldn't be surprised. Because in her mind, see, I've always respected the man. And always respect Tom Brady. And I love what he did for New England. But in her mind, she was like, he's a traitor. So when she read the letter, she's like, there's nothing there about the Patriots. Just one line on Twitter that says, "Oh, Patriots Nation, love you too." She was like, man, she was like, it confirmed to her. Yeah, it confirmed to her that fuck him. Well, to me, it's like, yo, the media. I go, what the media, the platform, everybody's trying to make it seem like he gave two shits about the Patriots Nation. I don't think that's true. But if you go down, if you look at I read the whole article, the whole note that he wrote, I'm like, ooh, there might be some truth in that.
No, so from the understanding I get, and I'm not saying this is accurate by any means, so don't say this is the case, but what people are starting to, the people who know Tom Brady and know what, his thought process a little bit more, they say that he did this huge goodbye 2 years ago to the Patriots. He thanked everybody. He thanked Belichick. He thanked the fans.
Yeah, he
thanked
did.
the town. He thanked Robert Kraft. He did all of this goodbye to the Patriots 2 years ago. So this time it was just more about saying goodbye to Tampa, right? This is where he spent the last 2 years of his life. Granted, they're not, as long as he was with the Patriots, but he was just felt like this is what he was focusing on, thinking, because it's a lot different in Tampa, I believe, than it was in New England. New England, Belichick decided who he's going to get. You're bringing people in. That's it, right? Yeah. When he went to Tampa, he got to help construct a team. People took less money to play with him and made sacrifices to be a part of that championship run and to do those things. So he felt an obligation to go out there and thank those people in just like he did the New England people for everything they put up with to allow him to come there and do things the way he wanted to do them. That's my opinion.
Yeah. So that's why, and I agree with you on that. And that's why they turned that, again, try to use it to try to pin that. But I'm like, first of all, like I was talking to the wife about it. I was like, first of all, I'm pretty sure he called everybody personally, McGinnis, Brewski, all that. And he already spoke to them about it and all that. So, and Belichick and everybody. And then everybody else, I thought he was going to pick a day, sign a day deal with the Patriots and retire from there. But he retired in Tampa. Literally retired his whole career in Tampa.
So the question is, when he goes into the Hall of Fame, he go in as a Buck or a Patriot?
He has to go in as a Patriot.
So then what's the problem?
There's no problem.
Okay, so then
for my own selfish reasons, I wanted him to at least go one day, sign a contract, and retire.
So let me ask you this,
because I want to see his jersey in up top, right? I don't want to see it in Tampa. I want to see it. He bled with the Patriots. He fucking sweated with the Patriots. He did all that shit with the Patriots. I want to see his shirt retired. I want to see number 12. Nobody ever use it. But would it be cool if the unselfish part of me would say, would it be cool to retire the number 12 through both teams and nobody uses it in Tampa or New England?
So a couple things, right? Number one, there's another quarterback who had a similar situation. He was with a franchise for like ever, got drafted by that franchise, and went into another franchise and won a Super Bowl. And that was Peyton Manning.
Peyton. Yep.
Yeah.
And so, wait, there's more than just him.
No, he's
there
was the only one. No.
There was Brett Favre.
No, Brett Favre never won a Super Bowl.
Yes, he did.
Peyton Manning was the first quarterback ever to win a Super Bowl with two
franchises.
You
mean with both teams? Yes.
Yeah.
What about Joe Montana?
Never did. Never. He got to the championship game, but never made it to the Super Bowl with the Chiefs.
That's true. Yeah.
So Tom Brady's the second person to do it. Now the thing is anytime you see a clip of Peyton Manning, what's he wearing?
Colts.
Nope. Exactly wrong. You never
I've always
see
seen
him
Colts.
in a Colts uniform. It's always Broncos. They were talking about this the other day, that every time you see a Peyton Manning thing, he's always in a Broncos thing. Like like you have to go back to like way old school shit to see him actually in that Colts uniform.
But it's funny because I just finished watching a clip. Actually, the new commercial he's doing with his brother, that he said you can't leave the house. The Super Bowl, that Chips commercial that he's doing and they're singing. He's wearing a Colts. He doesn't wear a Denver.
I think that's an old commercial.
No, that commercial's new.
No, I don't think it is.
Yes, it is, because it has the bus. It has Jerome Bettis in it. It has Terry Bradshaw on top of the bus.
That's
not old.
Dude, why would they bring that out now and not in the Super Bowl?
I don't know.
Because it's an old commercial.
No, I don't think it's that old. But anyways, he's wearing the Colts.
Okay,
but it's not about them. It's about Tom Brady. Let's keep it about the GOAT.
He's in a Broncos uniform. So the question is, when we look at Tom Brady, will he be in a Patriots or a Bucks uniform?
He's gonna be in a Patriots uniform always, bro. Right here, 12. Always. Always.
You just never know. My other question is, do you think at some point, and I know this sounds crazy, but I'm just curious, because of how unbelievably great. Now, I guess they wouldn't, because even Jordan, but then there's other people that had more championships than Jordan. I just wondered, do you retire 12 from the whole league? Like nobody wins 12 again?
You can't.
Why can't you?
You can't.
You did it with you did it with 42 in baseball.
Yeah, but that's history.
And he's not history?
The only way you could do that, but that's the difference. Jackie Robinson significantly made a change in baseball, in sports in general, but in baseball, right? So that's why you would retire it across the league, right? Tom Brady was just, he was one of the greatest, if not the greatest, in accomplishments in the league, but he didn't change sport like that. He didn't make his jersey, the number 12, shouldn't be retired across the NFL.
I don't think so, but I figured you'd want.
No, because you got Aaron Rodgers is number 12, and Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback.
Yeah, I get you're allowed to wear through your career, but I'm just saying but when you've done 10 Super Bowls, 7 wins.
Unprecedented, bro.
Hold on. I mean, if you want, we can start getting into his life, because you want to know the most intriguing story about everything that I've heard, and I'm going to put up a stat for you real quick on the picture, right?
Yeah.
Tom Brady played 3 separate careers, okay? And in all 3 careers, he could have been considered a Hall of Fame player. So up on the screen, it should populate in a second for you to be able to see it, is the story of Tom Brady through 6 different 6-year spans, okay? So you have from 2000 to 2006, right? He's considered the underdog, pick 199. I
like this.
Right?
You put in work.
He won 3 Super Bowl titles, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, never made first team All-Pro, with 12-2 in the playoffs, with 20 TD passes and over 3,000 yards, right? Then from 2007 to 2013, he's considered the GOAT, right? He didn't win any Super Bowls, but he went to 3. So let's remember that. He still went there. 2 regular season MVPs, which he didn't do in the first 6 years. 2 first team All-Pros. He only had a 6-6 playoff record, but had 23 passing TDs and just about the same amount of yards, right? So that was another ability for him to be like that. Even if he didn't win the other Super Bowls, that career right there would have put you in the Hall of Fame for going to 3 Super Bowls, 2 MVPs, 2 all-time first pros. Then he immortalized himself, right? And from 2014 to 2020, he won 4 Super Bowls, 3 Super Bowl MVPs, 1 regular season MVP, another first team All-Pro, went 16-3 in the playoffs, had 40 touchdown passes and 6,000 yards in playoff passing. Okay, now the thing you need to remember about that, though, right? Oops, sorry, I hit the wrong button on that.
You got to send me that clip, that image.
The thing you got to remember about that, though, right, is like That's a 6-year span, 3 different decades. Like who does that? Right? Like if you think about it, there's only
those
one
are 3
team,
different players, bro.
There's one team that kept him from the Super Bowl in the middle of it all.
Well, there's one team that kept not only him but the Patriots for becoming. Well, he became immortal. For the Patriots becoming immortal.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? Tom Brady said there's only one thing in his career that he has a regret on. Only thing. And that's that he couldn't do the undoable. And that's thanks to the boys, which is why I honor Tom Brady. Yeah. Did you see Eli Manning's farewell to Tom Brady on Instagram?
I seen that somebody posted up real quick, and then I just looked at it. I didn't see the whole thing. You should have just
heard it. He goes on saying how great he is and this and that, and then right at the very end, he takes a fucking shot at Brady. Thanks for sharing a couple of those Super Bowl rings with me, buddy. Oh my gosh, epic! Loved it.
Wow, that's crazy.
So real quick to break it down again, I have it all broken down on a smaller. On an easier scale, right? So you can see it better. Yeah. So he played 21 NFL seasons, 2000 to 2006, 2007 to 2013, 2014 to 2020. Look at what he did from 2014 to 2020. Things first you shouldn't be able to do, right? This is ridiculous.
And he's older at that time.
That's my saying. He did it. He was better older than he was younger. He threw for more passing yards in his last 6 years in the playoffs than the first 12 years combined. Okay. He had 4 Super Bowl titles. He beat his first 6 years. He had 1 MVP. Okay. He got 2 in the middle of the other one. 5 Pro Bowl selections where he would have had 6. 3 Super Bowl MVPs and only 1 all-time pro. But I mean, these numbers are just out of this world to think about. He had 3 Hall of Fame careers. People can't even get 1. This motherfucker got 3 Hall of Fame careers. Unheard of.
So, but here's my thing too. Like I was telling, who was I talking to? I was talking to somebody at work, and I was telling them, I'm like, listen, I'm not taking anything away from Patrick Mahomes, but it was too early to call him the next Tom Brady or the next GOAT, because of those accomplishments, right? I'm like, and the fact that even this year he couldn't even get past the AFC.
So here's the question, right? Because this is what people are talking about. So this is the problem with the NFL. Okay, this is the problem with everything going on.
Well, they always look for the next person to carry the badge.
We're comparing. Everything's trying to be compared against Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, which isn't fair, right? Yeah. You know how many people right now are saying that Andy Reid is a bad coach? A lot.
Yeah, but that's not fair. Andy Reid's a great coach.
But you know why they say he's not a good coach? Because this is Andy. Think about it. So with the Eagles, he went to 4 NFC championship games, right? Mm-hmm. He made it to, I think, 1 Super Bowl and lost, right? So I think he actually went to 5 NFC championship games, but he went to 4 in a row with the Eagles. Now he comes over to the Chiefs. He's been to 4 straight AFC championship games.
And 2 Super Bowls, right?
And 2 Super Bowls. But throughout this whole 8-year span, if you just look at those 8 years, what's he accomplished? 1 Super Bowl. Now, for anybody else, you're a legend. But the problem is Bill Belichick and what they do skews the entire margin, right? Yeah. We talk about coaches all the time that only won. Bill Cowher won 1 Super Bowl, and he's remembered as an amazing, epic, great coach, right?
Walsh, the San Francisco coach, Walsh, right?
He won also like 3.
3 with Joe Montana.
Maybe 4 with Joe Montana then.
Yeah, Montana won 4.
Yeah, because Mariucci won the one with Steve Young. But still, but he's looked at as a failure because of that. When in all reality, he does have a problem winning big games. I mean, it is what it is. And Patrick Mahomes looked flustered, so that's a whole nother topic. I mean, we can talk about Patrick Mahomes another day. Let's focus on Brady. But it's just crazy to think they kind of completely skewed how people view greatness. And it's not fair. Nobody's going to play 21 years again. Nobody's going to do what they did.
Yeah, this coach and player combo, you're never going to see that again.
No.
Not at least for a couple of years. And it's not fair for the rest.
I think it's impossible to ever see it again for this fact. Let's say, how many years do you really think Andy Reid can still coach? right?
Well, how old is Andy Reid? Yeah,
he's old. Like he's not he's not far away from the Bill Belichick type age.
Yeah, but a lot of people also don't consider that he's also gone through family tragedy.
That's what I'm saying. But so my point is this though. So do we see Andy Reid coaching for another 16 years?
No.
Okay, but that's the difference. Belichick and Brady were together for 20 years. 20.
And in 20 years, they've been to 9 Super Bowls.
Right? What tandem are you going to see do that again? Because the thing is, Andy Reid's just not young enough to be able to do it. So there goes.
But here's the crazy shit. You hear this? I was watching you'll see it when you get there. Episode 9 of the Tom Brady Man of the Arena. Julia Edelman says this, and mostly every coach, every player that says this about Belichick. He's an asshole, but it's the reason why he's the asshole. He's nice when it comes to the players, like as far as building a relationship, but he's strict. Even with the guys, Judy Edelman said this. He's like, this man, the more famous you got, the harder he was on you. He did not let you down. He's like, no, this and this and that. And maybe his structure is what caused that.
No, but it has nothing to do with it. What I'm trying to say is longevity-wise, it's just impossible to repeat. Like the only way he has a formula that works. It's not about the formula. What I'm saying, we're not talking about that. We're talking about you got to stick to what we're talking about. We're talking about the fact that they were together for 19, 20 years. And we're saying, could that ever be matched? His coaching style has regardless to do with that. That has nothing to do with it. Because there's other coaches that can be successful without that coaching style. It's the longevity and consistency. Because we're saying Patrick Mahomes is going to be the next great quarterback, right? No. But the problem is that there's no way possible that he's with a coach and be with him for 20 years. Number one, he may not last that long in the NFL. And number two, his coach sure as hell ain't going to last that long in the NFL. So the only realistic way is, let's say, maybe Burrow and his coach, right? Because
so speaking of Burrow,
they're both brand new, right? And they're both just into the league that possibly you could see something like that.
But that's exactly what you're mentioning right now. It's already being talked about, right? Oh, Burrow coming in. You're talking about the Bengals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Burrow and the coach could be the next Belichick and Tom Brady. I'm like, bro, they haven't even won a Super Bowl yet.
That's what I'm saying. So, but that's my point, is that people are trying to measure up to that.
Yeah.
Well, that's stupid. There's no way you can measure up to that. It's impossible.
That's what I said, that what the Patriots did during that span is unprecedented.
I don't think it'll ever be matched again.
No.
I don't think it can. Now, I'm not buying organization.
Here's what I like about this conversation.
Hold on, there's a difference.
The fact that you're
let me finish. It can be.
Now you got to twist it.
It can be matched by an organization. It won't be matched by a pair of individuals. Like, let's be honest. Patrick Mahomes is good enough that they can literally be in the playoffs every year of his career. And that franchise can be a dominant franchise, and it could have the Super Bowl has to go through them, just like it did the Patriots for 20 years. But there will be a new coach there at some point. Okay, there just has to be, because Andy Reid isn't going to last that long. You know what I'm saying? Just his age and his health and everything else. There's no way eating that many cheeseburgers you're going to be able to coach for that long. So what you're looking at is that's what makes it crazy. You just that it can't be matched again in that format. I do think there are franchises like, listen, the Buffalo Bills look like they're going to be a force to be reckoned with for years.
But not only that, people forget that the Buffalo Bills went 4 years in a row to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
4 years in a row.
See what happens when
they were considered a dynasty, but just if they win, at least they would have won those 4. They were being considered a dynasty in their conference.
No, listen, if they would have won, God forbid, they would have won all 4 Super Bowls, they would have been known as the greatest franchise ever.
Yeah,
because the best anybody's ever done is back-to-back, skip a year, and then get one, right? That was Brady. Yep. He won 1, lost, and then won 2 more. So you got 3 out of 4, right? But he didn't go to the Super Bowl that year. So he didn't go to 4 straight, right? So what they did was unprecedented. It just sucks that they lost. Not really, because the Giants won one of them, but still.
So themselves, right? And the fact that, we have a Giants fan here, that through the whole year was like, the Patriots, and now we're talking
Well, we're not talking about Tom Brady. We're talking about the old Patriots, not the current ones. The current ones suck, so who gives a fuck?
The current one, yeah, we're trying to build still.
Well, but speaking of the Patriots, though, I got to get to this other topic because it's important. I think that we discuss it and we kind of get off the whole Brady bandwagon train. We'll talk about it later. Once you start talking shit about the Giants being involved, it's time to switch topics. But there is there's an ex-Patriots coach who recently decided that he's had some issues with the NFL, and unfortunately, in conjunction, the Giants are named as one of the lawsuits.
Isn't it crazy?
Brian Flores, for those of you who don't know, was the coach for the Miami Dolphins. He was fired, and he is
head
now
coach, by the way.
I did say that, I thought, but he is now seeking employment with other NFL teams. But unfortunately, there's a scumbag in the league, okay, who decided
that's not fair.
Supposedly text the wrong information to the wrong person. And so what happened where it started all this, Flores and the New York Giants head coach Brian Dabble, great name for this head coach, by the way. Like either one, Brian, like if you're a Brian, you know you're going to do well in the NFL. That's just granted, right? But that's besides the point. This Bill Belichick was texting him saying, "Hey man, hear that
congratulations."
Are you excited about this opportunity? I hear that you're looked at the position. And they're like, he's like, "Yeah, man, that's the job I really want." But he made his comment, "Yeah, well, I heard from Buffalo and the Giants that you're going to be the next guy." And he goes, "Oh, that'd be awesome. That's the job I really want." And he goes, "Wait a minute, are you talking to me or Brian Dabo?" And then Belichick literally types, "Oh man, I fucked up." Like said fucked up in the text, and they X'd it out or whatever, and literally sent the wrong information to the wrong person. Now, the reason this becomes so much controversy is this was like 3 days before Flores had his interview.
The announcement.
Yeah. No, the interview, not the announcement.
Okay.
This was 3 days before his interview. So Bill Belichick's telling him he already knows who the coach of the Giants is going to be, but Flores hasn't even interviewed yet. So that's the whole thing that you're not supposed to be doing. You shouldn't be hiring people until the interview process is over.
What's the politics?
That's the politics, bro. Fucked it up. And I think Belichick was just trying to get back at the NFL. He's calling him a cheater. So he's like, guess what? All you other motherfuckers are cheaters too.
But here's this. What if there's a evil intent behind it? Because what is Belichick needing right now? An offensive coordinator.
Well, that's not Brian Flores.
Why couldn't it? Yes, he was a
coach.
He wasn't.
Yes, he was.
Patricia was a defense coach. He was. I think he was a QB. No, he wasn't QB coach.
Brian Flores is a defensive coach. He's not an offensive coach.
I thought he was an offensive coach. No. Well, there goes that theory.
Yep.
But
right out the window, dumbass.
Right out the window.
So
maybe there's evil genius behind Belichick's thing. Well,
hold on. So just so everybody knows exactly what happened. So former Miami Dolphins head coach Brian Flores is suing the NFL, the Dolphins, the New York Giants, and the Denver Broncos for alleged racial discrimination. The lawsuit claims that Flores went through multiple sham head coaching interviews and was treated unfairly by the Dolphins during his seasons in Miami.
The Broncos.
You didn't hear about the Bronco thing?
Yeah, I heard about the Broncos. That's kind of fucked up.
Did you hear about the Miami thing?
Yes.
So just for those who
that's allegedly, because nothing's on paper, bro.
Correct. Everything's allegedly that we're talking here. But allegedly, the owner, Stephen Ross, or whatever his name is, for the Dolphins, offered $100,000 per game for him to tank in order to get a higher draft position in the draft that Burrow came out of.
You know what? You want to hear something crazy though? The ex-coach of the Browns,
Hugh Jackman. Yep.
He's said that also was implemented to him also.
So now, because they're trying to file this as a class action lawsuit,
all of a sudden, if Patriots do shit like that, it's cheating. Now these fucking shit happens, and nobody they're not gonna make a deal out of it because it's not the Patriots.
They are, because they're trying to make it a class action lawsuit. So all these people who feel scorned by the NFL, like the Hugh Jackmans and all these people, can now file in the lawsuit. And now the NFL is going to have to do something. I mean, the biggest thing, the NFL just came out right away. Is like, yeah, this is unmitigated or unfounded, conjecture and all this shit.
There's no thing.
And they were talking about it like when Deflategate happened, they spent like over $1 million in doing research and investigations to see what really happened. But somebody comes out about
racial and bias,
and they're like, "Oh no, that's not true." Like there's definitely something wrong with that picture. I'll tell you what.
Yeah. Well, Brian Flores, he's not pointing out what's the known. And the Roney rule, somebody pointed out that also is broken, right? How it's worded.
It was
and all
always
that.
broken.
The fact that rule exists is bullshit.
Well, we talked about it once before.
Yeah, we did.
There's no, just because you're forced to do something, you're just doing it for compliance. So it doesn't fucking change anything. The Rooney rule is a joke to begin with. Sure, I can interview anybody I want to, but if you're not, like, there's no reason I have to hire the person. So what the fuck's the interview matter?
Yep. You're wasting people's time.
Well, according to the heart of the rule, you weren't, because at that time when the rule was developed, it wasn't just about the hiring process at that time. It was about giving these minorities the opportunity to learn the process. So when a viable coaching opportunity does come up, that they'd be more prepared for it. But so what they're basically was saying in the Rooney rule, and I get the heart of the rule was positive, but they're basically saying, well, look, you guys aren't prepared for this world, right?
Which is bullshit.
So if we force teams to interview you, maybe you will get prepared at some point. But they don't but none of that happens to white coaches. Like if you're not prepared as a white coach, you're fucked, right? And I'm not trying to say that white coaches should get that privilege. That's not my point. What I'm saying is to try to be like, oh, well, we know you probably won't get hired in your first 10 interviews, but if you go through 10 interviews, you may get hired on your 11th because you'll be more prepared for it.
Yeah, but it's so unfair. Right? It is so fucked up and broken that here's what I agree with. I think it was Sam Perkins that made this comment. No, it wasn't Sam Perkins. What the fuck is this guy named that he played for the Celtics?
Kendrick Perkins.
Anyways.
Kendrick Perkins.
Anyway,
Kendrick Perkins.
Yeah, Kendrick Perkins. Yeah, him.
Big Perk.
Yeah, he made a good comment. He's like, here's what I want to see. The people that are not black stand up and make a deal out of this. The players that are not, because most players that are standing up for it and are standing like they're standing with Brian Flores is black. Lately, I haven't checked up to date. I haven't been up to date on this as of 3:00 this afternoon when he made that comment. It's so far, right? And that's so true. Like. Why are they the only ones defending themselves?
Well, from what I hear, from most what I get, like the feel I get from most players is, honestly, God, they don't care about the coaching part of it, right? The interviews, the coaching, that they know what kind of hypocrisy the NFL is. They don't give a shit. What stirred up the players, and this is what's getting players pissed off, was the throwing of games. And the reason for that, from what the players broke it down, and they made it really good analogies. I get there's no guarantee in the NFL. There's no guarantee on how long you're going to play. There's no guarantee on the money you're going to be able to make. And to think that you're supposed to lose games for the owner's sake, okay, and ruin your shot to maybe get picked up in free agency by a different team, or
then for them to release you,
or for whatever, for you not to get your contract because you're not playing well as a you're losing games as a quarterback. Those wins and losses stick with a coach and a player.
Yeah,
like that shit sticks with you, right? Mm-hmm. And so when we hear those things, that's what the players are getting upset about. I haven't really heard a player be outraged that, oh, these are sham interviews. Most of the black players, even on ESPN and stuff, are just like, yeah, not surprised. We knew it was going to happen. What's the way to fix it? I mean, good old boys are going to people are going to hire people that look like themselves. So until you get black owners, it's going to be difficult to change that.
What is it going to take? A black owner, which the badge itself, with the collective owners, seems like they don't want it either.
Correct. I know, because they're still good old boys.
They want to lot, because I think there was rumors of Jay-Z wanted to buy an actual NFL team. Him and a couple of people together.
Yeah, of course. It's always a group.
Yeah, it was going to get together to buy a team, and
Well,
that rumor got shot down immediately.
Listen, if they come out and they find out that that this thing with Ross really happened and he was offering to pay to 10 games, he needs to be removed from ownership.
Yeah, hell yeah,
got to be gone.
It was just like the bounty thing with New Orleans.
Yeah,
it's just the same thing as that.
That's a coach making a decision, not the owner. Right.
Yeah,
and that's
true.
And not only that, but
it could be taken as
that
serious.
Doesn't change the integrity of the game. Right, going out trying to headhunt people doesn't change the integrity of the game. But when we're talking about the NFL has contracts now with sports gambling sites, and then you're hearing that teams are throwing games, that's a big problem. We're talking about billions of dollars being generated by these deals with these sports gambling sites.
Yeah, not on top of that, now that you brought it up, since there's lawsuits, now do those players that lost on some of those games create a lawsuit against the NFL because of that shit? Because they probably lost games on they lost money.
Once again, we don't know if from the impression I get, Brian Flores never did it. So they wouldn't have anything to do with that. They went out and played their hardest, so they controlled their outcome.
Yeah, but remember, the Cleveland Browns coach, he said that he was also that was also an option for him.
For him, right? We're talking about the ownership to the coaches. It never leaked into the players, right? So the players can't, No,
I'm not talking about the players. I'm talking about not the players. I'm talking about the people that are betting on the sports bets.
Well, they can't sue anybody.
What if they lost money? On a game that was told to tank the game.
Doesn't matter. There's been sports gambling that has been fixed for generations. You don't, as a bettor, the risk you're taking. You're not getting anything back. You can't sue the NFL to say
a lawyer will figure that out.
Yeah, I guarantee you there'll be no lawsuit like that. 100% never happen.
Okay.
So
if it ever bleeds out, we'll be like, you heard it first.
Yeah. Heard it first from the TB goat.
So back to the injustice that's happening. I think it's fucked up. He said it himself. Brian Flores was like, listen, I don't need this class action lawsuit. It's not opening doors to what's already the obvious. The obvious is there's less minority coaches out there, head coaches out there. His lawyer brought up a statistics. She's like, he has the numbers. So the numbers are that between this year to that year, there's been this amount of coaching jobs and only 15 of them got hired. 15 positions were filled.
So here's
during that time frame.
Here's another big problem.
Crazy.
There's another big problem in the NFL that people don't speak about. And I was a little disappointed that nobody really brought it up. So the other issue that's going on with everything in the NFL is it's not just about good old boys and you hiring people that look like you. People don't realize the NFL is a bit of a family. And people don't think about that, right? Think about how many coaches are in the NFL who have had coaching jobs whose fathers were involved in the NFL and coaching, right?
Yeah.
So these kids are getting opportunities at a younger age. So when you're talking about Kyle Shanahan, think about who his dad is. You know who his dad is, right?
No.
Mike Shanahan.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Coach for the Denver Broncos for years and years and years. So he literally, even Rex Ryan, right, came up through his dad.
Yeah.
Right? From Buddy Ryan.
And his brother, yeah.
Bill Belichick's sons on the sideline coaching.
Two sons.
You know what I'm saying? So when you're looking at those things, so the problem was systematic from the past of all these white people, but then they're bringing in their families and they're hiring their families over these other candidates that may be qualified at these entry-level positions, right, who are minorities. So now what happens is they're in the league longer, they have the bloodline, and people hire them based off their bloodline and their name. You know what? Your daddy was a great coach. Let's bring you in. You got to be, a hell of, and so now that's also compounding.
Yeah, and you also work next to your daddy, so you must have learned something, and it's that.
Yeah. Hey, it can't hurt to have Mike Shanahan around around here, there, now and then, or Buddy Ryan, or whoever.
Well, actually, what's his name? Famous coach from Green Bay. Back in the days, first Super Bowl.
Vince Lombardi.
Yeah, Lombardi. His son, his great grandson or his grandson works for the Patriots.
Correct,
for the Patriots.
Because the other one was a front office person. He didn't get into coaching. So
and just the name itself, it just carries over.
Yep. And so that's another problem. Is it's like a family run business right now. So how do you break into a family run business? It's just crazy. And it's funny. They call it the Rooney Rule. And who's the only team in the NFL with a black head coach?
Yeah,
the organization
Pittsburgh Pirates
that started the Rooney
Steelers.
Rule.
Steelers, yeah.
Because the Rooneys are the ones who own the Steelers.
And it's crazy. And but Brian Flores didn't have a losing season. They went from 1-8 to 8-1. Well, 1-8 to 8-1 the next.
He was this first year he had a losing season. The next two, so he was there for 3 seasons. He went 10-6 and 9-8.
Yeah, he went to winning seasons.
Yeah, but winning subjective.
And then he loses his job.
Winning subjective though. I will say that.
That is true.
We've seen coaches.
That's why, based on that, on those allegations, there won't be any. There's nothing big on that, based on that, because it is subjective.
So it's hard to pinpoint, why. Listen, we've seen coaches who make the playoffs get fired. You know what I'm saying? So there's just sometimes there's a difference of opinion, a different agreement. It could be a lot of different things that cause that to happen. I think when it came down to it is the GM the Giants GM wanted to go with somebody he knew. So he went with somebody who was in the same organization that he was. And it wasn't about race or anything else. He went with a familiar face. Now I know there's a small connection with him and Flores, but it wasn't quite the same. So I don't know. Yeah. Anything else you want to add to that?
No, that's pretty much it.
All right. Before we get into anything else, I do want to go ahead and read a small segment of Tom Brady's statement that he did in his little Instagram show, just because I think it's good for people to hear, right? And give credit to Tom Brady. But this is difficult for me to write. But here it goes. I am not going to make that competitive commitment anymore. I have loved my NFL career, and now it's time for me to focus my time and my energy on other things that require my attention. I've done a lot of reflecting the past week, and I have asked myself difficult questions, and I'm so proud of what we have achieved. My teammates, coaches, fellow competitors, and fans deserve 100% of me. But right now, it's best I leave the field of play to the next generation of dedicated and committed athletes. And so basically what he said was, look, man, if I'm not 110% focused on nothing but football, I'm not going to play. And it took him until 44. I really thought we'd get one more year. I really thought he was going to make sure he hit that 45 number, but
which he said he would be. He'll play up to 45.
Yeah, which is why everybody kind of assumed.
Yeah, I thought he was going to give us one more year because he came close.
Yeah,
he made the playoffs, and it looks like that.
Dude, they were one deep bomb away. If they would have not let Kupp get that ball, they easily could have won that game.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
And that was a comeback game.
And they didn't have Godwin.
Yeah.
Right. So they get a healthy receiver back probably next year. So it is what it is. All right. Time to wrap it up. We're running into that time frame. Do you have any FOH you want to go off of this week?
My FOH, actually, yeah, I have an FOH. It's going to be about Tom Brady. It's going to be short, right? Real quick. So
unlike
you can do the intro.
I can't because I didn't set up the camera.
Damn it. Okay. So,
sorry,
my FOH
I completely forgot about the FOH. Having different people every week, it throws me off.
Yeah, my FOH is this. The love letter, his retirement letter that he wrote, and he only mentioned the Tampa Bay organization, the St. Petersburg area, the location, and all that. Stop trying to pick those words and make it and pin the Patriots nation versus Tampa Bay nation, right? Tom Brady said his goodbyes to the Patriots, and this time he said his goodbyes to the Tampa Bay. So the media is not going to turn this around and make the fans pinning them against each other. It's not going to happen. Tom Brady, enjoy the rest of your life. Thank you for everything you have done. Everybody else that trying to make it into something worse of what he wrote, fuck out of here. TB is still the GOAT. And he's still loved by Patriots Nation.
Okay. So here's my fuck out of here.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So since Tom Brady's retirement, there's been a lot of talk in the world and in social media. Who's the greatest player ever in NFL history? Okay. And I'm so tired of people actually having the nerve to say that Tom Brady is the greatest player ever in NFL history. That right is reserved for one of two people and one of two people only that have graced this earth professionally in football. Messiah, can you name the two people I'm speaking of?
Bo Jackson should be one of them.
Nope. Wrong. Bo Jackson was never considered the greatest football player ever. Absolutely not.
What?
Never.
Bo Jackson was one in a million.
Dude, you go look at the list of greatest football players ever. He's not even in the top 10.
Okay, so I don't know which two you're talking about.
The two players that are up for argument, Jim Brown could be argued the best NFL player ever, or Lawrence Taylor. That's it.
And not Bo Jackson?
No, Bo Jackson didn't do anything. He didn't
change the game. You know what stopped Bo Jackson? Bo Jackson, when he broke his hip.
That's fine.
Nobody else can stop him.
Bo Jackson might have been the greatest athlete in some people's opinion, but he's never the greatest football player. Okay? Yeah. There are better running backs that you're going to put over Bo Jackson. But Lawrence Taylor changed the way the NFL was played. Okay, you're going to not tell me, and this was an argument that was on some of these talk shows. Tom Brady was a great player. He did things that will never be done again. Don't get me wrong. Okay, but fuck out of here if you tell me he was the greatest football player ever. Lawrence Taylor.
He's the most accomplished.
Okay, but Lawrence Taylor was the greatest football player ever. Okay, short and simple. That's it. Fuck out of here with that Tom Brady nonsense. Okay, that's it. That's all I got. All right.
All right, and we end it this way.
Yeah. So that's it.
Stay tuned. Go ahead. You can end it. Also, don't forget to mention the podcast.
Yes. Once again, we should be, for those who are listening, we currently have a test thing going out on Google Podcasts right now. So you can go check us out there. Pick it up. I don't know if it worked on Apple yet, and I haven't tried Spotify because I don't own Spotify. So I don't know how to really do that yet. So I'm going to work on that. But Google Podcasts, we are on there. It is, this episode will be live. Possibly within a day or so, and we'll send a link out on our social media. Messiah will take care of that and let you guys know how to get to it if you want to listen to it in the car or in your headphones or while you're doing some jogging or whatever else. But for Messiah, myself, for Tasha, and for Phoenix Born, we are out. We got the right stuff.